When you have your girls, you're never alone. You get together for coffee, maybe to work out, or just to laugh. We created Hey Girl, just for you. Can't wait for you to join us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to
Yes.
Hey Girl. I'm Kim with an E.
And I'm Kim with an I. Hello, everyone.
And this is Hey Girl episode 16.
16.
So, Hey Girl is a safe space where you can share your experience and be affirmed. Life can be so complex and overwhelming, but we believe in the power of conversation because knowing we're not alone is what helps us get through. And so we are so glad to have all of you here joining us for another episode. Hey, I don't know where you're joining us from, but wherever you're joining us from, put in the comments for me where you're joining us from. If you're here in Huntsville or if you're joining us from somewhere else, let us know where you are today.
Yes. So, welcome, everyone. So today is a new month. It's
It
August the
is. I
1st.
can't believe it's August.
I can't
I
believe it.
mean, July just
It went by
went.
so fast. Yeah, it went by so fast. But it's been fun.
So,
So, every
yeah.
every month we've been trying to change it up a
Yeah.
bit. So this month, for the month of August, we're going to focus on and talk about taking care of you. Taking care of
Yeah.
you.
That's
That
so
is so
important.
important. It's so important right now, especially in times like this.
Yeah.
And so much is happening, so much is going on. You want to take care of yourself. And so self care, I say, is so important, especially for women, for us.
Yeah.
We have so many roles, so many things that we juggle every day that you have to take that self care time for yourself.
Yeah.
And to not get burned out. You can't be for anyone else to be successful in any way without taking care of yourself because you get burned out. So
Burnout is a real thing.
yeah,
So
it's a real
that's what we're going
thing.
to focus on this month.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
week,
yeah.
some different aspect of taking care. Yeah.
Yes,
So we also want to remind you of our Hey Girl High Five list.
yes.
So these are our small businesses, either Black owned or minority owned, that we
Hmm.
have personally experienced or who others have recommended to us that we want our viewers to know about and we want you to support. So we want to take just a few seconds to highlight these businesses. So first of all, we want to remind you of our Hey Girl, Get Your Discount. You know, those businesses that we have already highlighted and made you know about. Of course, the Hey Girl Tea. We got our Natalie Ray and our Candy Girl body butter. So get your discount, 15% if you use your Hey Girl code. So want to make sure you remember to support those three businesses. But
Hmm.
then we also have our Hey Girl High Five list. And so these are
Yes.
the five businesses that we want to make sure you are aware that are out there. And this week, the Hey Girl High Five that we are bringing to your attention include Black and Bold Coffee, which is owned by two Black guys. I confess, I love my cup of coffee every now and then.
Yes.
Typically, I have a soft spot for Starbucks. I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to coffee. But I've been told by a family member that Black and Bold is actually a great coffee and they're Black owned. So I'm going to give them a try. I've ordered my bag. They also, 5% of their proceeds goes to a nonprofit organization that supports at-risk youth. So I'm all for it. I'm willing to
Yes.
give them a try for that reason alone. So give them a
Absolutely.
try as well. And then 57 Northampton is owned by an Oakwood University graduate, and they do mental health using play as fun. I think that's
Mm.
fantastic. So definitely look them up as well. And
Hmm.
then I was impressed by Tiffany Brown Williams, who is a young lady who has a t-shirt company. And
Mm.
I just was impressed by her. So her company is called Above the Trend T-shirt, and she has an Etsy, as you can see. So I think you should give her a try as well.
Yes.
And then Golden Macaron Bakery has beautiful cakes. And this is another company that I happened upon on Facebook. And she's an at home baker. And you can find her you see her website there as well. So I think that you should give her a try.
Give her
So
a
these are
try.
the Hey Girl High Fives. And then our very own Amanda Pitt has
Yes,
little
yes.
bracelets. Fabulously is the name of her company. And I forgot to put on mine. I have one, but she makes these lovely little bracelets. And I love the name Fidget Fabulously. I think that's
Fidget
so cute.
Fabulous. I love
And
it.
her bracelets are super cute as well.
I
So you
love
can
it.
check her out and
She's a
find her
jack
on
of all trades, I
Facebook.
tell
She
you.
really is.
I know
She's
that about her.
very much a creative person. And so she made the Hey Girl High Five as well. And
That's
we
awesome.
definitely encourage you to support
That's
her business.
awesome.
So yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So that's my that's my bit for today. Yay.
Yay.
I
That's
love those
awesome.
images up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody go out to support. Go out to
But
support.
she has, absolutely.
Yes. Well, Proverbs 17:22 says, "A merry heart is like a good medicine." And I believe
Mhm.
our guest today has discovered the cure for a lot of L's and of us today. So
I
today, before
think
she
so too.
introduce her, I decided to wear my happiness T-shirt today
I think
to
that's
show
so perfect.
to show happiness. Yes, yes.
Indeed. And I think that's
So
such an important aspect of taking care is learning
mhm.
how, learning how to be happy.
Yeah,
Like the Bible
learning how
says,
to be
it's
happy.
good medicine.
It
So
is.
absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit about Rochelle Gapere. And I hope I'm not saying her name wrong. I told her the other day, I was like, I think I'm saying your name wrong. But she'll tell us if it's wrong. But Rochelle Gapere describes herself as an attorney by trade and a happiness coach by heart. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Tennessee State University and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Miami School of Law in 2005. She is an attorney, happiness coach, and entrepreneur. And in her Amazon best-selling book, One Happy Thought at a Time, 30 Days to a Happier You, Rochelle cements her lifelong practice of adding more happiness to this world by empowering others with science-based tools and techniques that help them lead happier, more fulfilling lives. And Rochelle is here to share some of those tips with us today. So please welcome Rochelle Gapere. Welcome.
Welcome.
So glad to have you.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome. Hi,
Welcome.
how are
You
you?
pronounced my name perfectly, so that is good.
Oh, good. I've been so worried. I was like, I'm probably just destroying her name right now.
You did it absolutely well. So
It's
Oh,
thank
beautiful.
good.
It's
So glad to
beautiful.
have you. I was telling you before the show. I was like, I have a friend who's a lawyer also. And she was like, oh, this woman did this webinar and she just made me so happy.
Oh, that makes me so glad to hear.
I have to find this woman who made my friend so happy.
Good. I
Exactly.
thank you so much for spreading the word.
So you're
Yes.
doing something right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're so happy to have you on the show. And before, it's so funny. I told you, whenever I saw your picture, I was like, look at her skin. I just wanted to say, brown skin girls. The new song with Beyonce.
Yes, and I've been playing that nonstop since yesterday, so we are definitely aligned.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, let's
Awesome.
get in the conversation of happiness. So, why, in the midst of all the Cheetos that's going on in the world today, that's around us, so much sadness,
Mhm.
how in today's society are you so happy? Why are you so happy?
So honestly, it's really about my perspective. I could focus on the good things that are going on in my life, or I could focus on the bad things. And to be fair, there are way more good things happening right now
Mhm.
in my life. I mean, in general, we are all alive. Just waking up in the morning is such a privilege. It's not all
Mhm.
right. There's so
Right.
many people. We see the ticker every day on CNN. 150,000 Americans have now lost their life in a 5-month period, right? And so just the gift of waking up every morning is something that I celebrate. But separate and apart from that, also, is just having perspective and setting healthy boundaries. Because one area of your life being bad, meaning for me right now, it's the inconvenience of not being able to have the freedom to do what I'd normally do on a regular basis. But I've
Mhm.
also been able to pivot and I've found the silver linings. And it's just looking on things with a different perspective and also being very, very mindful of the people I'm allowing around me and
Mm.
also the boundaries I'm setting, the news I'm watching, the music I'm listening to. And so, in the grand scheme of things, I am really, really, really grateful that this pandemic hasn't really affected me personally a lot. I mean, of course, in terms of my day to day freedoms, but I am still pretty much employed. I have been getting more work actually because people
Yeah.
are in this space of wanting more joy and to figure themselves out. My friends and my family, they are healthy and they're also doing well. They're also employed. But more than anything, I'm just grateful that they're all alive. So the people
Mm-hmm.
I care about are thriving, they're alive. And so, happiness, it's a choice. Every day you wake up, you have a choice to focus on all the bad things or you could focus
Mm-hmm.
on all the good things. And if we really stop for a minute and really pause, we realize that we have so much more to be grateful for than we have to be sad about.
Mm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so, and you mentioned boundaries. That is so important. I've learned you have
Mm.
to set boundaries. Anything that kind of comes into your peace or
Mm,
your happiness or your joy, you have to set a boundary. Not to throw it away or put it away, but you have to
Mhm.
set a boundary, a healthy boundary in order to
yeah,
protect your happiness.
yes.
Mhm.
And it's learning how to compartmentalize. So I have
Right.
this system that I call the doom and gloom hour, right? So
Mm.
I need to know what's happening in the world, but I don't need to know what's happening as soon as I wake up. So what it
Mm.
is that I choose when I want to receive bad news or bad
Mhm.
energy or whatever it is, or if I need to talk to the friend who I know is going to be the negative Nancy. That doom and gloom hour is dedicated to those things that I know aren't uplifting my mood because right after my doom and gloom hour, I know I am immediately going to do something that's going to
Mhm.
put me in a good mood, whether it's going for a run, whether it's listening to good music. So we have to learn how to carve out our time. We are in control of every hour and every minute of our day, and we have to be very intentional about how we're spending it. And the
Mhm.
problem is that a lot of people wake up in the morning and immediately they are allowing the world to set their pace as opposed to setting the pace for themselves. They're on
Mhm.
Instagram and you're scrolling down these feeds and you don't know what kind of energy your Instagram feed is going to bring to you. You're looking on your text or on your WhatsApp messages as opposed to waking up, having an intentional morning routine that sets you up for success from you wake
Mhm.
up. It could be praying, it could be meditating, it could be doing yoga, it could literally be just laying in bed and saying all the things that you're grateful for. It could be
Mhm.
waking up and dancing, but you have to be very, very intentional about the tone that you set for your day as soon as you open your eyes. And too many of us are being reactive as opposed to being
Mhm.
proactive in
Proactive.
setting ourselves up for success and ensuring that our days are created and designed by us, as opposed to having random people just throwing their poison at us
Mm.
and causing us
Mm.
to feel whichever way they want us to feel in the day.
So
Yeah.
basically cultivating happiness for
Yes,
ourselves.
yes.
Yeah.
Day to day, minute by minute, moment by moment. You have to be on it. It's like a muscle. You have to keep
Yeah.
exercising it. Because let's be honest, like I'm sharing this space with you right now, and we're having a good time. But my energy right before this, when I turned on the news and saw the tropical storm coming to
Mhm.
Miami and seeing the death toll raising, of course, those things give you, um, it makes you sad and it makes your mood dip. But
Mhm.
immediately I was just like, well, I have to get my energy up. So I started playing some of my favorite songs. I started dancing in the house, and immediately
Mhm.
my mood started getting better. So that's what I'm saying. You have to generate your joy, you have
Yeah.
to generate your energy. And it's important for you to know individually the things that make you happy. I always tell people, make those happy lists. What are the things on your happy list? What are the free go to things that you know you could do in an instant to change your mood? It could be a feel good song. It could be going for a walk. Whatever it is, you have to be able to like reach for that stuff at a drop of a dime in order to change your mood or uplift your energy.
Hmm. So, in your book and in other talks I've heard you do, you talk about a relationship that you were in which fell apart.
Yes.
What did that relationship teach you about happiness?
So to be fair, that was the lowest point of my life. The end of
Hmm.
that relationship. It's more than anything, I was hurt that the relationship ended, but I was disappointed that all my plans were falling apart. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, we hold on so tightly to these plans. And, I always say, like, God had a much bigger plan for me than I could
Mm-hmm.
have even imagined at the time. And so I was just so sad about the fact that the door had closed. I felt so rejected, so hurt. And the thing that it taught me about my happiness really was that one area of my life didn't mean that all my life was bad. And so that's what I kept focusing on. Rochelle, yes, this chapter of your life is ending. Yes, you're sad about the relationship, but you still have good friends. You still have your health. You still have your family. I had to focus on all the good things that were going on in my life. But another thing that it taught me is that at that time, a lot of my goals were tied to his goals. A lot of my purpose was wrapped up in his purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
so at the end of the relationship, a lot of it also was losing a little bit of my identity. It was just like, okay, but I've always known myself to be his girlfriend, and oh, we are building this company together, and I'm cheering him along in his dreams. And so when that ended, it almost was just like, okay, now what? The relationship ended. Okay, now what am I going to do with my life? So it was such a pivotal moment because I was able, one, to recreate what I wanted my life to feel like and look like, and to really focus on what my purpose was. Because I believe that when you are clear about what your purpose is, and your purpose can change season to season. And, I don't want anybody to be like, well, if I don't know my purpose, I can't be happy. No, 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 no. That closed door was what really clarified what my purpose was. Because
Mm-hmm.
as I was going along and people asked me how I was doing, I would tell them, well, I'm sad, but I'm also grateful. And they're like, well, you have a really good perspective. Maybe you should write a book. And then I was like, well, ta-da, maybe I'll write a book. I didn't even know that the thing that I dreaded most, the lowest point in my life, ended up being the greatest blessing in terms
Mm-hmm.
of revealing my purpose to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I always tell people when doors are closing, don't force them open. You'll be surprised that that closed door will propel you to your next level of greatness. So, my happiness in that season came through being very clear about what my truth was, what my purpose was, and knowing that I'm much more resilient and
Mm-hmm.
stronger than I ever imagined myself to be. Which, you never know how strong you are until you go through the challenge, and then you're like, oh my God, I was 35 years old. I was scared. I had all this fear about walking away from this relationship I'd been in for 5 years. And society says, oh, you have to get married and have these kids and blah, blah, blah. And I was able to walk away boldly, and it took bravery. But I look back on that season of my life now, and I'm just so grateful because I learned so much about myself through that period.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
So with that relationship or any relationship, and I guess for me personally, when something happens like that, or someone I feel like invades my privacy, not privacy space, but happiness, things like that, or just a drama, this person that's a drama person, for me, I tend to like just kind of push you to the side and not have to deal with you to
Yeah.
protect my happiness. So for you, I have to ask, would you advocate that a person ditch a relationship um, in order to continue to make them happy? Would
So
you?
to be fair, I think okay, there's no perfect life. There's no perfect relationship.
Mhm.
So let's just put that on the out there. Like there's nobody who is gonna live, let's say, an average of 75 years and not have any sadness, not have
Mhm.
heartbreak, not have disappointment, right?
Yeah.
And so to think that you're gonna partner with a whole human being and not have rough days or rough seasons, that is totally ridiculous.
Right.
So what it is though is that you should be with somebody who is committed to the relationship and committed also to making you happy. First of all, you have to make yourself happy, but you want to be in a relationship with somebody who wants the best for you, who supports you, who is honest, who respects you. So
Mm-hmm.
jumping up and leaving a relationship because you're unhappy a lot of times is not only what the partner is doing, you also have to reflect and think, okay, is it a me problem or is it a them problem, right?
Right.
Lots of us don't do a lot of introspection, and it's easier to place the blame outwards than doing
Mm-hmm.
the internal
Yes.
analysis to figure it
Yeah.
out. So what I will say though, if you have long periods of unhappiness, I mean, we know, or gut knows, or intuition knows, I'm a huge advocate for therapy, individual and couples. Both of
Yeah.
you need to, meet up with a neutral third party. Sometimes hearing it from somebody else that you respect sheds a lot of light. But
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, the reason why I walked away from my relationship is because I know I'd given it my all, and it had gotten to the point where it was clear that it had run its course.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
clear that it had run its course, right? But it wasn't, oh, one day that I was just unhappy and just packed up my stuff and kept it moving. So to
Yeah.
clear any relationship, for it to work, you have to be committed to it. And I
Yeah.
also believe your partner should be your biggest cheerleader, should support you, and should want to see you happy. But if it's a continuous situation where your happiness is being compromised, it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you definitely need to discuss. And if after you discuss it, both of you can't come on the same page, then you may need
Right.
to walk away. People come in your life
Right.
for a season, reason, lifetime, you know?
Right. Right. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's
it's
both for.
really,
Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I was saying it's both ways. It's not just in a to me. It's not just in a relationship between a couple. To me, it's just friendship in general. Friendships.
Exactly.
The
All
same
relationships.
thing. Yeah. All relationships goes back to that.
Yeah, I was gonna. I feel like we need a little disclaimer statement right here because, we are talking about relationships broadly, but I can hear like married people going, "Oh, see, if he don't make me happy, divorce
I'm
court, here
out
we
the
go."
door.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, whoa,
Nope.
whoa, whoa,
That's
whoa.
not it.
Thankfully, you were in a dating relationship, and I think dating relationships is really important to work out those kinks. Figure out whether this is the right person, all that.
Right.
But it could easily, be misinterpreted, this whole happiness thing, like it's all about me, it's all about
Mm-mm.
what makes me happy. And
No.
I definitely don't hear your message being about that kind of thing, right? This is not a
Hmm.
selfish kind of, this has to make me happy kind of
Right.
journey,
You
right?
know, it's a shared happiness. And
Yes.
the more emotionally mature that I have gotten, the more I
Hmm.
realize that the right person for me is a person who, when I wake up in the morning, I am also thinking about their happiness as much as I am
Mm.
considering mine. What can
Hmm.
I do to make that man's life easier? What can I do to make his life more peaceful, more joyous? We all have a limited amount of time on this earth. So if you are going to partner with somebody, both of you should want to be bringing the best of yourselves to the
Hmm.
relationship and helping each other live their best, most fulfilled life. Nobody wants to sign up for a life of misery, because if that's the case, then just stay alone. I could be bad by myself. But
Right.
let's be clear, people who have been married 50, 60 years, they are very honest. The women in my family, they keep it real. There are seasons where they were over their husbands. And because they had that commitment, they kept working towards
Hmm.
it, right? Which is why I started off by saying there's just no perfect situation, which is
Yeah.
why it's so hard when you're on the outside looking in and you're seeing these relationship goals. People put up their highlight reel of their life. They're not telling
Yeah.
you that they had an argument the night before or that
Hmm.
they
Mhm.
slept on the couch. They're just showing you the vacation pictures and the perfect poses. It's the
Yes.
truth. So we have to have perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
having perspective.
Yeah. And Facebook gives you
definitely.
that facade of happiness of people. They're gonna, like you said, they're only gonna show the good things
Oh,
Yes.
in the
yes.
relationship, and then like a couple months later, the divorce. You're like, okay,
What
so you
happened?
can't look at Facebook relationships. People don't. It's just
Oh,
don't do it.
yeah,
That's like the
Yeah.
worst.
People
Yeah,
are
we
only
have a
showing their
question.
highlight reels.
Right.
definitely.
Exactly. We have a question, Kim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from Kalita Parker, and it asks, why? is unhappiness such a spiral, yet happiness seems to not be?
Say that again.
Wait, maybe yeah, why is unhappiness such a spiral?
Spiral.
I don't know. Yet happiness seems to be. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not.
Anyway, I'm not quite either. We'll just
I'm
continue
not seeing the
conversation.
question, so
You're not?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just written wrong. So if you can rewrite your question, if you could rewrite that. So we'll go to the next question. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay. So Brene Brown talks about this concept, and you said something about the silver lining also, where some people will try to console others by putting a silver lining on their problem, like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, but at least you have this, I think she uses the example of, oh, you lost your job. Well, at least you, your husband still works, or, oh, you had a miscarriage. Well, at least you still have the other child, and that sort of thing. But she talks about how it's a sort of a dismissive approach to problems, right? It doesn't acknowledge the pain that you are suffering with the difficulty that you've had. And so is there a danger, I guess, the flip side of the coin of shifting that perspective is that it's dismissive of the pain of the difficulty that you have. Do you see a danger in, or potential danger in, this approach that you're proposing? I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, some people might say, oh yeah, sure, I can shift my perspective, but what about the problem? It's still there. Like, I still have the suffering and the difficulty, and putting a silver lining on it doesn't change anything.
And I absolutely agree with Brené's positioning. We have to own our feelings. Every single emotion is legitimate. You have to let yourself be happy. You have to let yourself be sad. You have to let yourself be frustrated. You have to let yourself be hurt. I give women the permission to release that superwoman cape and be vulnerable. Happiness lies in vulnerability. Happiness lies in being truthful and honest. Nobody gets a prize for pretending that life is all good if you are in a rough season. And so I always say that vulnerability requires bravery, right? And your bravery requires vulnerability. And so you can't fix what you don't confront. And so if you just put on this mask, oh, I lost my job, oh, yes, I'm happy, that's not a real emotion. You have to sit with it. You're sad, you're disappointed. And the sooner you can digest what is going on with you, then you could move forward into the solutions. But you can't find the solutions if you won't even acknowledge your problem. So I am definitely not one of those coaches who tell people, get over things, just get through it and whatever. No, no, no. Sit with it. Figure it out. Because listen, you will keep getting, the universe will keep sending you the same lesson over and over again till you learn it. And it will manifest in many different ways.
Yes.
Absolutely will. So I am a huge advocate. And I always say to people, especially with me, I don't learn the same lesson over and over. Like, I take it once. I'm like, listen, God, okay, what is this here to teach me? Let me get still, let me journal, let me figure it out. So I really sit with it. So when I see the situation presenting itself, I get the lesson quicker. It's just like, okay, Rochelle, the last time that happened, this was the outcome. So here is the lesson. I get the test again. Did you learn it? And I literally celebrate when I do learn it. So I'm like, yes, last time 5 years to get that lesson. This time 6 months. Yes. But you will never, ever truly become fulfilled. And, you have to be your authentic self. And authentic is being honest with every single emotion and feeling you're going through. And I always say to people, give people space. Give people space to be themselves, to express their emotions. People just, and don't try to figure it out for them. Sometimes people just need the space to just talk, to be heard. And so if they ask for your advice, great. But sometimes people just want somebody to listen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so many of us just don't have that. We just don't have a space where we could just offload and just say, you know what, today I'm just not feeling well. And that's
Right.
okay not to feel well. You're a human being going through a human experience. And so you are going to have the days when you're unsure, when you're scared, when you're disappointed, when you're afraid,
Mhm.
and that is okay. But what my job is to help you have the effective tools to get back to a place of feeling good sooner than having to wallow in that self-pity for long periods of time. That's my
Mm.
job.
So it's
Yes.
not about ignoring the problem.
No, no,
Mm,
no,
mhm.
Deal
absolutely.
with it. Like you
Deal
said,
with
deal
it.
with it, sit in it and deal with it.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
You can't
Yeah.
fix what you don't confront.
good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm gonna
That's
go back to
great.
that question. Well, Kelly Doolin, hi Kelly, had a question. Why do you seem to spiral deeper into unhappiness very easily, but you don't spiral into happiness? It takes more effect to be happy.
Or more effort to be
More,
happy.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
more effort. Excuse me, more
got
effort to
you.
be happy.
And
Mm,
you know what? I think that really for sure is an outlook, but let me bring some science into it. So, genetically, we are 50%, or genetics is responsible for 50% of our happiness. 10% of our happiness is based on our life circumstances. For instance, what we are going through right now in COVID. And then 40% is our choices or day to day actions. And so, if I told you 40% of you could control 40% of the traffic on the way to work. You could control 40% of the weather. That is a lot. That is a huge margin that you can maneuver. So, what the thing is, some of us really are predisposed to being happier than others. 50% of your genetic makeup already accounts for that. So, let's
mm,
talk about that 40% where the magic happens, right?
mm,
And so I always say your happiness is your responsibility and your happiness is your choice. And just as you could think about the worst case scenario, you could absolutely think about the best case scenario.
Mhm.
But happiness is a muscle that you have to exercise. And so, why it is that it's easier for us to focus on the bad things, on happiness, just turn on the news. Think about the messaging around you. Most of what you are hearing is the drama. That's what sells. We are more willing to talk about all the bad things that are happening in our lives as opposed to the good things. But if we started a movement individually to start thinking about the good things, the good stuff, and it's not something that just happens overnight, it's something that you literally have to challenge yourself, think about your thoughts. Okay, I think I'm going to miss my flight. But no, what if there's no traffic on the road and I make my flight with ease? That's also an option too.
mhm,
That's also an
mhm,
option. So the challenge is that you individually have to take the responsibility and say, okay, just as I could think about the bad things happening, I can now also start trying to rewire my brain and my thoughts to start thinking about the good things. I hope
mhm.
that helped her. I hope that helped a little bit to put some
Yeah.
perspective, the
Yes.
scientific aspect of it to the actual personal responsibility aspect of how much power you have in that 40% to change your day to day environment, how you look on things, how you process things, how you process information. And
Mhm.
so, I like to use this example. Think about some bad seasons in your life or some tough seasons or things that didn't go your way. And think about the lessons that you learned because of it and who you became because of it. So now you're not only thinking about the bad thing, you're now thinking about the growth, the evolution, the maturity that you gain, the wisdom. So don't just think about the bad thing or the unhappiness, but okay, in that season, how did that help you become a better version of yourself? You didn't get into the college you applied for, but you may have gone to a different college where you met some of the best friends that you could have imagined, right? So it's just a little shift in perspective. So I hope that kind of answered, what she asked.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, the good stuff. Um, I guess what are some simple things that you suggest that we do to be happy, even when we're not naturally wired that way? I mean, some people are not naturally wired that way. I've had some people say, "Well, why are you so happy?" And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Walk around crying and sad all the time? It's just like, but some people really aren't wired that way, you know. So what would you say to that?
So I would say, scientifically, the gratitude practice works. It is the number one, surest, easiest way, and it is free to focus on the things that you have as opposed to the things that you don't. So each morning as you wake up, this is what I do. Some people suggest that you do it at night or at the end of the day. I do it in the morning before I could start complaining. 3 new things I'm grateful for, right? And it is a beautiful practice because as I open my eyes, I am on it. I'm grateful for the pillows that I slept on. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful that, oh, the AC worked this last night, because you now shift into a mindset of what you have and what's going well, as opposed to, oh, I woke up, I'm so tired of this job, I'm tired of the
Mm,
PM, I'm tired of the this, I'm tired of that. No, now you're focusing on what's going well instead of what's not. I also like to do it with my friends when they call and they complain and they complain. And then in the midst of it, I said, but tell me, but what are you grateful for in the situation? And you could tell that they're irritated that I'm asking them that. But you can tell that their mood shifts. So the gratitude practice is something that I definitely recommend that you start today. And don't just do it all haphazardly. Really think about why you're grateful for that thing. You're grateful for your heartbeat. You're grateful for the oxygen that you breathe.
yeah,
Think it through, and you'll be surprised how many things you will find to be grateful for. The next thing
absolutely.
I will say is exercise.
Mhm.
It Studies have shown even a 12-minute walk is enough to boost your mood.
Yes.
So you may not necessarily want to walk outside, but even if you turn on that music in your house and dance, 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 dance. Yes, you have to get your endorphins up. It's the truth. People
Yes.
need movement. And a lot of times we are just so sedentary. We're just sitting around our computers, sitting around watching Netflix. The beauty of doing it outside also is that you're getting vitamin D. And most of us
Hmm.
are not getting enough vitamin D, right? So, a third thing that I would say is work on your happy list. What are some things? And I like to take it back to your 8-year-old self. When you were 8, that was a time in your life where you were free. You did not succumb to what the world told you that you should be. The other day, I was not able to run anymore because it was raining so much in Miami, and I bought a jump rope. I forgot how much I love skipping. Oh my God. I was in this house just skipping, skipping, skipping. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I've denied myself this for so long. It literally cost $11 for the jump rope, but it brought me so much joy. So
Yes.
little things, I have this example of taking a daily vacation. We wait. We like to condition our happiness. I am going to be happy when I go on the 2-week trip to the Barbados, or when I have the marriage, or when I have the husband, or when I have the children. No, no, no. What are some simple things? So, for instance, I went on my balcony the other day and I always sit and look towards the water. And that day I looked left and I saw the sunset. And I said, oh my God, I've lived here for 3 years and I never realized that the sunset was right there.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy. I don't ever go out I hardly go on the balcony, but now I look forward to it. That's my daily vacation. I go, I sit on the balcony, I have a glass of wine, I watch the sunset, I'm in awe of nature. I know that every day the sun will set. So every
Perfect.
problem that I
So
have, I'm
simple.
like, well, Rochelle, the sun will set and the sun will rise again,
Perfect.
which means that this problem that you have today, it will disappear and sun will rise again. It's a
Hmm.
perfect
Yeah.
analogy for your life that nothing
Yeah.
lasts forever, right?
So true.
So
Right.
Yeah.
take the time to take your daily vacations, but really sit with that happiness. Focus on the things that bring you joy. If you like to read, why aren't you reading? If you like to listen to Beyonce, why haven't you listened to Beyonce in 2 months? You should be
Right.
waking up
Right.
every day and dancing to Beyonce.
Right.
It's so simple, but people,
So simple.
one
Yeah.
of my friends, she literally got married in a sunrise wedding, and she came to my office for like a while, just moping around, moping around. And I said to her, when was the last time you went to watch a sunrise? And she said, you know what? I haven't done that in like 2 years. I'm like, but why? You made all of us come out at sunrise to watch you get married, and you love the sunrise. Why haven't you done that? And so she started incorporating it into her schedule weekly, going to watch the sunrise. She would journal, and she said, Rochelle, thank you, because it goes back to the self-care. What are the things that you need to do to care for yourself? Because listen, you only have one life.
That's
You
right.
have to
Wow.
maximize and make the best of it.
Yes.
We have no overs, people. None.
That's true.
No,
This
It's
is
so
it.
true.
no do
This is it.
overs. Don't do
Yeah.
overs.
That's it.
Yeah,
You
and
get one
why
life to
live your
live.
life?
So you have to
Exactly.
milk
So
it to all
why
its worth.
exactly? That's why I can
Yeah.
understand when people are not trying to be happy. Like you said, some days you're going to be off. You're going to have those days. They're coming. They're
First.
going to be there.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to switch that. Switch that. My husband always say, I can tell sometimes by how you wake up. It's a choice you make.
Yeah.
It's a choice you make. And definitely you have to recognize that when you're feeling a little down and out. Like you said, turn on some music, that brown skin girl,
Yes.
I'm telling
or
you.
because I'm happy or something that will put you back
Lift your
on the
mood.
happy.
There's
Yeah.
a song
Yeah.
I love. It's by Celine Dion called I'm Alive. And in
Hmm.
July, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to dance to that song every morning. Let me tell you, ladies, I was in here getting it. Parties, I shared it with some of my girls, and they started doing it too. So they would send me their videos, and they would be dancing to I'm Alive, and it was just so fun. Isn't that such a good way to start your day,
That's
as
awesome.
opposed to
It
rolling
is.
over, going on CNN, seeing all the bad
Uh,
stuff? No,
Yes.
I
yeah.
actually I'd go to bed at night looking forward to waking up to dance in the morning. I'm like,
Right. How
I'm
about
the
that? Oh
best.
man, I'm
Yes.
telling you.
I
And,
love
and you
it.
know what? The best phrase I ever heard was, "You get to choose."
Yes. You get to
You get to
choose.
choose.
You choose.
And and
That's
and,
it.
and isn't that
It's simple.
empowering?
Hmm.
You get to
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
And
get to
and
choose.
if you just realize that and accept that and then make the choice, that can be the first step towards happiness, honestly.
Mhm.
Happiness is
Mhm.
your choice. It's a daily choice.
The
I
daily
always say
choice.
every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Exactly.
So, what are
Yeah.
you
So
saying?
what are you saying yes to, right?
What
Right.
are you saying yes to? You need to say yes
Right.
to the things that fill you up, make you feel
Yeah.
alive and rejuvenated and refreshed and good,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have a choice.
You
Every
have a
single day
choice.
you make that choice.
Yes.
That's
We
right.
have one more question, probably. Sorry,
Yeah.
Kim. I
Okay.
know we're almost at the end.
We always get so close, and then we just have that last. Okay,
I
go
know.
ahead.
But we want to ask this question. I think it's really nice.
This is
It says,
fun.
yes, yes, and we love to talk. So hey, I knew this was gonna happen. Okay, so so she spoke earlier regarding happiness in this time of tragedy. What
Mhm.
can people do to mitigate feeling guilty that they're doing well than others while others are suffering? And that's I think that's a good question. Feel guilty.
So, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, empathy and compassion goes a long way. So,
Mm,
you have to be sensitive to everybody else's plight and what they're going through. You
yeah.
offer a kind word when you can. But listen, people still need hope. People
Yeah.
still need hope. So you don't need to be online bragging and saying, my life is great and I don't care about people with COVID. No, 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 no. But you are still living your life and you're still blessed and you're still in a good space. And sometimes people just need to see that life, everything isn't bad, so it's how you do things. You could be kind but still hold the space for having empathy and compassion for other people. In this season, actually, for me, I my life has gotten even better in this space, but I've been very careful about how I give that message, right? So I'm
Mhm.
not telling people, oh, well, today I got this win and tomorrow I got this win. No, no, no. I'm sensitive
Mm.
to that. But what I will do is spread joy. I still am putting up quotes. I still am sharing videos. And you'll be surprised how many people will send me messages and say, thank you for just reminding me that there's still goodness in this world. Because we still need to see that despite all the bad things that are happening, that there's still good things. Babies are still being born, companies are being birthed, movements are happening, and so people still need to hold on to that little glimmer of hope. So think of yourself as the blessing, that little glimmer of hope right now, to reassure people that, listen, trouble don't last always. Every storm runs out to rain. It does. And listen, we all have our seasons. Because
Yeah.
4 years ago, exactly on this day, I was just like in the throes of, Lord, how is this my life? How is this my life? So I want to celebrate my journey by having gratitude and appreciation that 4 years ago I was not in a great place, but hey, I grew into this great place. So who am I to deny somebody my testimony? Because my testimony will also help that person realize that life may not be great for you right now, but listen, just hang on a little bit longer. The good days are coming, girl. The good days are coming.
I love it.
that.
That's so good.
And we have
Rochelle,
some more
you are
questions, but oh my goodness, you're gonna have to
you're
go
such
in
a
and
joy.
yeah,
Yes.
you are. You're such a joy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. And yes, there are, I'm sure, more questions in the comment boxes and the chat. And so you'll have to just after the show go on and respond to those. But listen, I want to let our guests know that Rochelle Gapere has a book, One Happy Thought at a Time, 30 Days to a Happier You. And guess what? If you would like a copy, of course, you can go on Amazon and order one. But we are actually giving away a copy of her book to one lucky person. If you would like,
Awesome.
if you would like a copy, all you have to do is send an email to us at heygirlfb@gmail.com. Put in the subject line happy, and we are going to draw the name of one lucky winner, and we will announce it in our show next week because we want you all to be blessed by her book. And it is a great book. I've been reading it. It's a quick read. It's a quick read, very easy. I know y'all are like, oh no, not another book. I have a ton of books I haven't had time to read because I know I have a bookshelf full of books that I have very big aspiration to get
And that's
through.
why we love quick reads.
This is such a great quick read. She gives all of the same great tips that she just shared with us and more. And I know you're going to enjoy it as much as I am. So yeah, one lucky winner.
All right.
If you just send an email to heygirlfb@gmail, put in the subject line happy, and we'll announce that winner next week. So I'm excited to share that with you. And I'm so glad that you have been with us today. This has been so good.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it so much. I am happier just sharing this space with you.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for adding to my joy.
Thank you so much. This has been fantastic.
Yes.
So we are going to go to our scriptures for today. The first one is Psalm 118:24. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say, rejoice. The Bible says that we should be happy.
Amen.
The Lord wants us to be happy.
Yeah.
And so today indeed has been a happy day. I'm just overjoyed. It just is just so good. It's just been such a good day. So there you have it. Be happy, everybody. I know that there's plenty of things to be sad about, but let's look for like Rochelle shared. That's just all about changing our perspective, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the start.
Yeah. So turn on music.
Oh yeah, it's all about the music, right?
Brown skin girl.
Definitely. So after the show, we all know what we're gonna go listen to, right? That is definitely one way that we can take care of ourselves, guys. And next week, we're going to talk about another way that we can take care of ourselves. We are going to have with us Dr. Quigley, who is going to talk to us about another way that we can take care. And it's going to be a ladies only edition of Hey Girl. I'm just going to leave it there. All right,
You
ladies?
don't want to miss it.
You definitely don't want to. All right. So until next time, I'm Kim with an E.
And I'm Kim with an I.
See
Bye,
you
guys.
later.
Have a good week.
Hey girl, I hope you were happy watching today's show. Be sure to tune in next week. It's another special episode just for you. Dr. Cherise Quigley is joining us, and she's going to tell us how to take care down there. That's right. Be sure to tune in, and if you have questions, send them in to heygirlfb@gmail.com and she'll answer them. It's a ladies only episode that you don't want to miss, so be sure to tune in.